Hello, I'm Jerry Fort. Welcome to Jungle Jerry's Treehouse. I'm going to read about the Hodag. What about the Hodag? Every dag has its day. Type, it's a mammalian. Location, Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Earliest sighting, 1893. Notable features, greenish fur, row of spikes down back and tail. In 2021, the governor of the state of Wisconsin, Tony Evers, proclaimed May 21st as Hodag Day. In his announcement, he said, "No matter where you're from, the Hodag is a key part of our culture, identity, and heritage. The Hodag is a cryptid. The Hodag is about the size of a black bear, covered in greenish fur and bristling with bony spikes down its back and tail. The two long tusks in its upper jaw match the pair of horns atop its head and its long jaws. In William T. Cox's Fearsome Creatures of the Lumber Woods," I'll write that down. William T. Cox, Fearsome Creatures of the Lumber Woods. There we go. See if I can find that book. That might be good. A tongue-in-cheek collection of lumberjack folklore from 1910, he acknowledges that description, but submits a different version of the Hodag that he finds more believable. His money is on the Hodag being a rhino-sized, shovel-faced creature whose patterned coat inspired lumberjack plaid. But the city of Rhinelander, Wisconsin, in the heart of Wisconsin Northwoods, chose the thorny version as its mascot, although mascot is not an adequate term. I don't think I've ever seen a community commit to a monster like Rhinelander does with the Hodag. The place puts every Bigfoot town to shame. Excuse me. The story of the Hodag might begin with the Native Americans, as some have remarked on the distinctive similarity between the horned Hodag and ancient depictions of the underwater panther. See page 196. Its story goes back at least as far as the aforementioned lumberjacks, whose stories Cox collected in the early 20th century. Rhinelander was established in 1882 as a lumber town, with its burly axe wielders working to thin out the nearby North Woods. For the lumberjacks, the Hodag was considered a ghost, a spirit, or maybe even the reincarnation of a dead ox that spent its life lugging logs. The beast of burden couldn't quite release its earthly burden and stuck around to haunt the forests and lumber camps. The person who elevated the Hodag in the public imagination was a Rhinelander businessman named Gene Shepard. In 1893, Shepard started showing people photographs he claimed to have taken of the beast, in parentheses, which some say he described as foul-smelling and fire-breathing. After hunting it down with a few partners, the group tried to take it down with rifles and water pistols full of poison, but eventually had to resort to dynamite. In 1896, Shepard took the gag further by claiming to have trapped a Hodag in its den with the help of some bear wrestlers by blocking the opening with rocks. He then knocked the Hodag unconscious with a sponge soaked in chloroform on the end of his stick. Shepard took the creature on tour to various county fairs. The Hodag specimen was actually a wooden puppet covered in black hair that was manipulated in the dim tint via wires. All that effort really cemented the creature in history of Rhinelander. Fast forward to today, and it's impossible to avoid the Hodag while passing through town. There are statues of it everywhere. Themed business, gift shops. Don't pass up the Hodag. Hodag. That's what it says. Christmas sweaters and tree ornaments. Local museum exhibits welcome signs, street pole banners, and historical placards. The Hodag is the high school mascot. It has an annual week-long festival in May called Hodag Heritage Days, in parentheses, which was launched as part of the governor's Hodag Day announcement. Not to be confused with the Hodag Country Festival, in parentheses, a music event established in 1978. The centerpiece of all that Hodaggery is a large statue that sits in front of the Chamber of Commerce. Finally, the town website, ExploreRhinelander.com, is literally a Hodag fan site. You can learn the history of the creature, play Hodag video games, and join the fan club. I could barely find any information of the actual town. In many ways, Rhinelander is the shining example of how I want all towns to celebrate their cryptids, but it's also an opportunity to ask oneself, can you take cryptid commemoration too far? I don't know the answer, but whatever it is, it's definitely in Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Happy Hodag Day. Here's a little picture of him right here. Looks like a furry Komodo dragon. All right. There you go. Well, thank you all for watching. Thanks for listening to the story about the Hodag. We'll see you all on the next one. This was the United States of Cryptids, a tour of American myths and monsters, J.W. Ocker.